Hi, friends. Happy after Christmas. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you thinking about some New Year's resolutions? I hope so. I hope so. So, I have a question for you. How many people, maybe it's Monday after the holiday, the first holiday, right? The first holiday of the end of the year, how many of you got on the scale and was like a little bit shocked? How many of you were a little bit shocked, right? How many of you got some bills in the mail or online from your credit card company, huh? That you were a little bit shocked to see how much you spent on Christmas and Christmas festivities, right? You went a little overboard. I don't know about you. Or how many of you are just really thinking about the past year and you are just like, okay, I want to achieve this. I want to do this. How many of you want to have a new goal? You have something you want to do, you've been wanting to do it for a while, or maybe you've tried to do it in the past. All right. How many of you have done that? Well, anyway, let me know what your New Year's resolution is. I'd love to hear a little bit about from you and what your New Year's resolution is. And I'd love to come alongside you maybe even and cheer you on if I know what it is. So that would be fun. I see my girlfriend Karen is here. Karen lost 30 pounds this past year, so we know she achieved her New Year's resolution. I see Erin here, who's an amazing fitness trainer. I see some great wellness associates on here as well. All right, so let's get started. If we've never met before, again, my name is Mary Star Carter, and I'm known as the Total Wellness Doc and Mom. And my passion is really helping families to be healthier, to be wiser, and to really have total wellness. And how many of you would say total wellness isn't just what the number on the scale is, right? It's not just how much money we have in the bank, but it's a whole thing. It's relationships, it's finances, it's your social life, your marriage, all of that, right? That was what total wellness is. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So Karen, I'm so glad our wellness associate Karen's on. If you can stick with me, Karen, we're going to talk about you at the end as well. Karen Warman. I'm going to talk about you at the end. Awesome. Good to see you, Janice and Aaron. Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 tips that are going to help you to succeed, whether you want to quit smoking, you want to be more productive at work, you want to pay off some debt, you want to lose weight, you want to get stronger, or you want to improve your marriage or your relationship with your kids. Maybe you want to improve your homeschooling. Maybe you want to buy a new home. Maybe you want to move, whatever it is. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 tips to help you. Are you ready? Okay, let's get started. First up, the number one reason I think my own past, and I think maybe for you too, that we sometimes fail in our New Year's resolutions or any time that we're setting goals is that we set the goal and we don't set a plan. We set the goal and we don't actually have the actions thought out, planned out, strategies on how we're going to achieve that, right? I'm going to quit smoking, okay? I am going to lose weight, okay? I am going to do this. And a lot of times, let me come back to my notes here, we'll set that. And they do that a lot. I work with a bunch of associates and we have different promotions in our company. So they want to achieve a certain promotion, certain level promotion in the company. They say, I want to achieve silver this year in the next 6 months or whatever the promotion is. But yet they don't have the plan and the action steps to do it. And let's go along with that, they don't have the resources. And what do I mean by resources? Okay, so say, for example, you want to lose weight and you have decided to do a keto diet to do that, but you don't have the resources to plan a good hour and a half every day to plan your food, or it's Whole30 or whatever it is, that you don't have that time in your life to actually cook the food, buy the food, prep the food, or you haven't made a day of the week where maybe you prep all your food at once, right? So that is really important to have the resources. Second resource that you might not have, you want to get out of debt, but you really don't have the skills to do it, right? You and maybe many of your family members are all in debt, and you don't have the skills to do that. You don't have that resource to pull from, that training on how to step by step get out of debt, right? Another resources could be money, right? It could be, I want to get my whatever degree, right? I want to do this, but I'm going to need to pull some resources to get there. So a goal, but not without a plan and without the resources, is probably gonna fail, right? Probably gonna fail. Okay, next up, the reason we don't succeed in our goals, and a tip that can help you, is make it simple. Make it simple. It has to be simple, right? It has to be something that you can follow, that very, very simple. And I'm so glad my associate Karen Worman's on, because she has some really simple things that are going to help some of you who maybe you want to lose weight. She has just like 4 simple things, and I'm going to be joining her this year soon, like tomorrow, I believe. No, in January she's going to start. But anyway, very, very simple. It has to be simple if we can't follow it. So 2 of my mentors, husband and wife, they give this example all the time. The one mentor, the woman, she was like, she had all these goals she had down, She had like 10 goals she wanted to accomplish. And her husband, who like had 2, he had like 2 things he was going to do. And his goal, action plan, was to actually go to the gym 4 days a week. That's it. That was part of his action plan goal. That's all it was. It wasn't actually to lose weight or anything, but he knew if he could succeed at doing that, that he could lose the weight. And of course he did, right? He was very successful at that. So if you're a homeschooling mom and you're really struggling right now and you want to do all of these different things and activities with your kids, and you feel overwhelmed and you feel like a failure all the time, or you are saying, my child will do this, right? My child will read at the 3rd grade level by the end of the year. Well, we can't control that, but we can control that I will read with my child 15 minutes a day, every day of the week, or 4 days a week, or I will hire a reading tutor to come in 3 days a week. Do you see the difference in that? Just very simple in making things. And sometimes that simple means taking some things off your plate. I remember one year when I did do the keto plan and lost a great deal of weight at the beginning of the year, I knew that I couldn't prepare that. So I hired a company and that was in my area that made those keto meals. So 2 of the meals, you could do 2 or even 3 a day, and they would bring them every week, twice a week. I would go make them up or at the gym, and I would get them, and they were delicious, and I could put them in the oven. I didn't have to microwave everything. I mean, it was costly, but it was very simple, and at that time in my life, I needed something that was very simple and easy to do. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so Erin says she's a homeschooling mom that's feeling overwhelmed. And Erin has got a lot on her plate, and her husband has a lot that he does as well. And I think she has 3, 4, or 5 boys, I forget. And then she's an associate as well. So the next thing to think about, maybe for Erin and things like that, is the 3rd tip that I would give you is picking a plan that's right for you. The 3rd thing I'll give you is picking a plan that's right for you. And let me give you this story. And this story comes from an old coach I have. Her name was Mary Jo. And Mary Jo's husband was laid off. He was disabled for quite a period of time. It was almost 2 years. So Mary Jo had 5 children at the time, and she had a little side home business. And she said, you know what? Every night I am going to have to work this side business from 7 to 10 to achieve this extra income into the house so that we don't go under, we don't lose our house, we don't do that. So she had to set up a plan that every one of her kids was in their room. So dinner was at 5, everyone was in the room. They couldn't play sports for a few seasons, And I know when I say that to parents, they like freak out, right? I'm not in that situation, so I don't know, but they freak out thinking, oh my God, I can't tell my kids that they can't play sports or they can't do drama or they can't, do whatever. But what Mary Jo did in doing that for about a year and a half, where every child was in the room at 7, things were just kind of on autopilot, and she worked every night from 7 to 10. I think she had one day off a week. The level of income that grew into her family, and particularly residual income, so that she could let go of her job. Her husband was okay. And then when he got okay, right, everything was good again. The point of it being that sometimes we have to cut things out. So is your plan right for you? Pick the plan that's right for you. So if you're saying, yes, I want to grow this business. I want to lose weight. I want to do these things. What things might you need to let go of, and what is the right plan for you, right? At this time of my life, with the level of help I have, or looking at the resources you have, a keto plan might be way too strict for you, right? Or it might be, you know what? I might need to actually go out because that's so stressful for me that I can't work my home business and I just feel so much stress, like I have to make those sales, I have to do that, and I'm not being productive. It might be going to get a part-time job. And I've seen many people go out and get a part-time job, and then their small home business go right up because that pressure is off their shoulders, right? When I have to do that. Okay. All right. So next up, so the third thing is the plan right for you. So we've, number one again was, not just setting goals, but actually setting a plan and having a plan, making sure you have the resources to work that plan. Number 2, it must be simple. Number 3, pick a plan that is right for you, whatever you want to do, right? So at one time in a season in our life, we would go to church every Wednesday. They had a meal for us. The kids could be in the different Awanas and stuff. And then we would go to the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace. And that was wonderful. And it worked great for our family. But later seasons in our life, in different programs, we found particularly something called War on Debt by Danny Johnson's phenomenal program. You can get through it very, very quickly. You can take it over and over again, and you don't have to, spread it out over 8 weeks or something like that. So very, very good program for anyone who wants to pay off debt. Okay, the fourth thing that we're going to talk about is environment change. Okay, so you want to be more productive at work. You want to get that promotion. You want to be more productive in your little home business, your side hustle. You want to not feel overwhelmed in your homeschooling. You want to, all of those things. Well, all of those things are going to require some changes in your environment. And that might be your daily schedule, right? So that might be, for me, I found that if I don't get up and exercise and have my time with God in the morning, that I am, no. So I just kept getting up earlier and earlier and earlier. And I was miserable and impatient, and just, getting 5 or 6 hours of sleep just didn't work at this season of my life. And I'm having some hormonal changes and all that. And that I found I needed more sleep. So I had to change my homeschooling so that we actually start homeschooling much later, like almost 10 o'clock every day, because that is better for me. In fact, the kids start something at 10 on their own. I go have a meeting with my husband. We do some of our finance and some of our business things. And then I come back down and we're ready to start at 11. So you see what I'm saying? Your environment actually might have to change in order to do that. Maybe your best friend and you always go out for ice cream on Wednesdays or things like that. You're going to have to change some of those environments, or even sometimes the people that you hang around with, to achieve your goals. For those of you who do have a business, or even maybe you're homeschooling now and stuff, you need to set, and Richard Brooks says this really well, he calls it sacred time, right? So it's time that everyone knows there's a boundary around that time. It's not just your training time. It's actually time maybe you're working in your business. It's time where you're homeschooling. Because my husband works from home, I'm really having to set strong boundaries. Like when he comes down, I'm not looking away if I'm homeschooling the kids. He knows and he waits maybe if he has to talk to me for a little bit because, homeschooling is a challenge for some of us, and especially those of us who have kids with more challenges. So I've had to put a boundary around that, right? So make sure that you're putting boundaries around and changing your environment to do that. You have to set strict time for social media if you want to be more productive. Like you have your social media fun time, right? So that might be while you eat dinner, or if you're single and alone and you like to scroll while you eat dinner and it's fun for you, or at 8 o'clock at night or something like that, but you're not constantly on social media and you're not getting notifications all the time. For those of you who have a very busy, oh, look at that. I'll share with you my 10,000 steps. Yay. Must be I'm moving my hands a lot. But the point of it being that, getting back to setting some limits around your productivity. Clean out your email box. Clean out all the groups that you're a part of. Really focus in on the people, the things, the groups that you want to work with and be successful with this year. Okay. I didn't add this in, so maybe we'll do 6 points, but having some kind of tracking system, I think, is very important, and accountability. We'll add those two together. So tracking and accountability, having a way to track, what am I actually eating? How many calories am I actually getting? How many steps? Before I got my Fitbit, I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago, I was like some days doing 4,000 steps, and that's not a lot of steps, and that's not healthy. Some great mentors that I've had have talked about getting our 10,000 steps in, but without a tracker, I didn't know what I was doing. And now that I'm doing this, my doctor has me doing some high intensity interval training, I need to know my heart rate. So having some kind of accountability. How many people, I'll have associates come to me and like, I'm just not having any results. I'm like, well, how many new people have you talked to this week or this month? Oh, like 1 or 2. When 80% of our time in our business needs to be talking to new people and only 20% of our time in the follow-up and presentation. So, that's something to think about there too, is, how are you tracking? Because if you want to complain that you're not being successful, well, how do you know unless you're tracking? Okay. Lastly, the last thing that I want to share about goals, and this is really a kind of a pivotal thing. I'll show you this book that I've been really enjoying. I listened to it on Audible, and now I'm taking my time and actually like going through and highlighting and listening and reading at the same time. Very, very good book. It's very meaty. It's by James Clear. It's called Atomic Habits. Tiny changes, remarkable results. An easy, proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. And there are so many good tips in here, but the one I want to share with you, I maybe shared one already about being simple, but the one I want to share about you in this book is how do you see yourself, right? And he gives an example of a smoker. And I have someone in my life who quit smoking about a year ago, but she, I'm trying, she like saying like, I'm trying, or I'm doing this, or, they don't see themselves as a non-smoker. Do you see yourself as fit and thin? Do you see yourself as someone who's healthy or very productive? Do you see yourself? And that's hard when we're not in that space, right? Maybe we're 50 pounds overweight, 100 pounds overweight, or whatever. We're not in our space, but working on how we actually see ourselves, because you can get thin, and a lot of people get thin, and I have actually thin friends who think they're fat, right? Their mindset is different. Or success in your business, or I am successful, I am a business leader. I like how you see yourself is so important to the success of your goals, because you can achieve that and then maybe not be able to maintain it unless you see yourself that way. So those are my tips for you on having successful goals this year. I hope you have an amazing goal. And just a couple resources that I want to give you. So what is your next step, right? What is your next step right now for your goals? Number one, review the year. What is last year? What was I successful at? What do I really want to do this year? Is it weight loss? Keep it simple. Keep it just to maybe 3 goals that you have for this next quarter, this next year. And this, I have had great mentorship, and I have found that, 1, 2, 3 goals at the most for some of you who have busy lives like me is it, right? 1, 2, or 3 goals. So what is important to you? What do you want to achieve this next year? And that will help you have a lot of less heartache, I think, too, because you think, oh, I really sucked at this year. Well, maybe that wasn't your focus this year, right? What is your focus this year? So 1, 2, or 3 goals. Next, you've got to not only have the training, but have the accountability too. So, training, yes, you can read amazing books like that, but 2 trainings I want to talk to you about as well. So I told you my friend Karen is with us. She's an amazing associate that I've got to spend a great deal of time with recently. And she really, really has a heart for people who are overweight and want to lose weight. Whether you have 10 pounds to lose, 50 pounds, or 100 pounds, this is coming from a woman who lived that life and has learned to love to exercise, and has learned to very simple, easy tips, simple, easy things to help you see yourself as fit and healthy, to help you actually succeed at this. And I'm so excited to be joining her in her weight loss boot camp coming up soon. But very simple. She is so much fun. She is a riot, and she doesn't even know this yet, but if we can get a good amount of people joining us too, we're going to have some fun prizes too with this. So Karen, I want you to put your link. I have it here too, so I can do that afterwards, but put your link for your little kind of application questionnaire that she has to see if it's a good fit for you, because not every program is a good fit, like I talked about that. So that's one if you want to lose weight. Second up, for those of you who really want to work on your relationships this year, maybe you want to work on paying off your debt. Maybe you are debt free and really want to build some wealth, to build some money that, is available for you to help some of these people hurting in the world, to be able to help, whether it's orphans or to provide a school or build a school. Maybe you want to help a family member who have been out of work. Maybe you want to have some more money to travel, and you're like, Mary, we can't travel. Oh, yes, you can travel. And a lot of us have been traveling, even if it's just within the US, and getting great deals right now. But whatever it is, I highly recommend this virtual class coming up in January. Is the one thing that has helped dozens and dozens and dozens, hundreds and hundreds of my friends, my associates, and even my family members to be able to pay off all their debt in 5 to 7 years. They've been able to heal broken relationships, improve their marriages, get rid of toxic relationships, be able to move across the country, have a blast with their life, travel more. It's a blast. So it's called First Step Success. I'll put the link in the comments, but it is something that I know will radically change everything. If you're serious about achieving your goals this year, if you're serious about getting some, not just resources, but some specific strategies that help. And I know people like Karen Malloy, who's on here, and my friend Mary, Dr. Mary now, who's been able to achieve some of these goals using First Steps to Success and the skills that she learned there. So if you love First Steps to Success, put a heart in the comments. And if this was helpful to you, let me know. Let me know what your goals are. I want to be cheering you on. I want to be praying for you this year. And I want you to cheer me on, because I am excited to be joining Karen Warman in her weight loss boot camp coming up. So I'll see you all later. Talk to you later.